According to an interview from Forensic Magazine with Tracy Lee Dowdeswell, a criminology and legal professor, as of December 31st, 2022, 545 cold cases have been solved using DNA testing. I'm qualified to give this speech because I've done hours of research on this topic. The purpose of this speech is to help people better understand what exactly DNA testing is and how it can be used to identify people in criminal cases and to see your family history. DNA testing, also known as forensic genetic genealogy, is used in many different ways, the most prominent of which in the media are criminal cases and family history. Forensic genetic genealogy is the combination of genetic genealogy and conventional genealogy. Genetic genealogy is just identifying someone, but in a forensic context. So, like to solve a criminal case in like a legal matter. And then conventional genealogy is tracking family history through the use of records, so like a census. An article from Maryville University states that DNA testing is relatively simple in theory, and DNA can be sourced from multiple different things like hair, skin, blood, spit, your nails, all sorts of stuff. How they do it is they get a sample of DNA, and then they perform a thing called electrophoresis on it, which all that does is makes a copy of your DNA, and then they compare that to other DNA samples. The closer related a DNA sample is, the closer related the people whose samples they're from are. DNA is crucial in many criminal cases. The first time that DNA was used to solve a criminal case was in 1987, and it was a double homicide. Police had a sample from them, but they didn't have anyone that matched it to the sample, but the sample told them that the same person killed both girls. Eventually, they did get a sample from a guy named Colin Pitchfork, and his DNA matched the sample that they had, and he got 2 life sentences without the chance of parole. And their whole case against him was built off of that match of DNA. In 1994, a DNA database called CODIS was created. CODIS just means Combined DNA Index System. So when someone is arrested or convicted of a crime, a DNA sample is taken from them and then put into that database. And then CODIS will identify investigators whenever a match comes through. So if they get a DNA sample from a crime scene and then they put it into CODIS, CODIS will tell them if the DNA they have is a match to someone else's DNA in the system. Bridget Keough's book, published in 2019, called Blood, Bullets, and Bones, states that CODIS has over 10.1 million samples from convicted criminals, and in 2013 alone, 203,000 matches were found through CODIS. CODIS can also match samples to potential family members. DNA is used to see your family members by looking at your autosomal chromosomes. So your autosomal chromosomes are the chromosomes passed on to you from your family members, like your mom and dad. What they do is they take your DNA and then they compare it to other samples in their databases. Again, the closer the DNA, the closer related you are. A downside of this kind of testing, though, is the company you submit it to can only look at the data in their database. So like 23andMe can only look at samples they have in their database. They can't look at any other ones. What they do exactly is they do these things called Y-DNA and mtDNA tests on your DNA. Those tests look at archaeological cultures and ancestral movements. mtDNA tests can be done on anyone because they look at your X chromosome, while Y-DNA tests can only be done on males because only males have a Y chromosome to look at. In conclusion, DNA testing is often crucial in criminal cases and helps us to learn more about our families and our family histories. Forensic genetic genealogy is extremely important in finding and understanding our families and closing criminal cases. DNA analysis is a valuable aspect of today's society, and as our understanding of it grows, so will our understanding of ourselves. You can clap if you want to. This is my audience. He's not sleeping, he's just being scared. And then these are my note cards.